So we have understood the various functions over datetime module where we have worked on combine, replace, string formatting and string point of time, where you have seen multiple possible ways. If you give date, you can say what month it is and what is the day of the week and name of the day of the week, right? So it's fine. So in the same way, we have one more very important function, or what we can say, what is the method, which is time delta, because the name itself says time delta is basically it is directly used to find the time difference between two dates or finding the date after adding a period to an existing date. So in that way we can start using it. So to make it more simple, we'll be directly going to the practice part where I'll be just making sure how can we use this time delta, because time delta is basically the time difference, where if you clearly see the time delta object generally consists of same days, seconds, microseconds, milliseconds, minutes, hours. You can see this difference. How do I directly tell it? I just directly write time delta of, you see, difference between two date time values. That means basically when I say 1 hour is 60 seconds, right? You can convert days, seconds and microseconds are stored internally, where a millisecond is converted into 1000 microseconds, minute to 60 seconds, hour to 60 into 60, 3600 seconds, and week is converted into 7 days. That's where we can generally see. Now what do? We'll try to understand this time delta by using a simple program. Basically when I go for time delta, it is one of the very widely used class. It's one of the very widely used important class of datetime module, where it is useful to find the time duration. So for that reason, we'll work on a very simple example where I'll give a present date and I wanted to find the future date. It's interesting, right? So we'll go for that. So my target is to write a Python program where I just wanted to find future date and time, because basically time delta we try to make sure that how does we find the difference. Delta is nothing but the time difference between the interval values, which is time delta, the time difference between the two different objects. So I just pass it in the format of time, we start with days, seconds, microseconds, milliseconds, minutes, hours, week. That is the reason I told you, if I tell week, it is of 7 days. 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. 1 second is basically 1 minute is 60 seconds, and 1 millisecond is 1000 microseconds. So in that way we can just make it, but it's a general scenario. My task is to find future date and time from an existing date and time. That is my problem statement and I am trying to go with that. So for that reason, what we'll do, we'll just try to use, already we have imported from date time import star. That is the reason in the beginning only I've just made it. So I'll just continue with that, where I'll store the date and time in date time object, because you already know how to pass the date with the help of date time object. We can give d1 is equal to, but we should follow the same order, right? It's year, month, day. So I'll give 2021. I want to give the month as February and I want to just make it the day as 15. Whether I add or subtract, it's fine. And I want to give the hour as 10 and 45. And it's second is anything if you want to pass. Okay. That is what we have generally given. That's a date time object, where the next part is we want to define the duration. How do you try to define the duration? Using time delta object. Just basically we'll define it as period 1. It's a first period or second period, whatever it is. So period is equal to time delta of, where I want to know the 10 days left, because if I go for day, month and year, year, month and day, it is 15. So 15th February plus 10 days, it will be 25th February, right? That's what. And even if I want to add some seconds as 10 seconds, whatever I want to give, whether if I want to give minutes is equal to 5 minutes. Okay, I'm just satisfied with this. I need not, if you want, you can pass hours and whatever you want to pass. I just wanted to directly add the duration. How do you just go for it? You can directly give print of the new date. The new date is basically the new date and time, because if you want to add time also, what we'll do, we'll just add here hour is equal to, hours is equal to, it's basically 10, right? I'll just give, I'll directly give 2. Let's go for that, it will be easier. The new date and time is, you just directly go for adding the d1 plus period 1. Directly you're going to add, where you can clearly find the difference over there, d1 plus period, because you are trying to use the print format of string and variable. There you go. Because if you want to see each and every result, you can just give print of d1. It's up to user interest how we wanted to see the result, because already we have worked on the same thing. When you just click on run, you can clearly see 2021 February 15 10:45. What is the new date? 2021 25th February. What is the time? Because I have given 2 hours extra, and the minutes as, how many minutes I gave extra? I gave the minutes as 5 and seconds as 10. So 5 plus 45 is 50 minutes. 15 plus 10 is 25 seconds. There you go. Clearly you got the new date and time. So this is very simple usage of how can you use the time delta object. It's very easy. Now, with this understanding, you have understood how to use date method, time delta, and along with this string format of all of these functions. Now we'll use a simple check case. Why can't we take multiple input from user and tell which person is younger, which person is elder? It's interesting, right? Yes, we can go for accepting date of births. Accepting date of births from 2 persons and determining who is younger, and determining who is younger or who is older, or whatever it is you want to give. It depends on your print formats what you try to give. So first you need to understand how do you take multiple input. If you clearly remember, we've already taken that format. Yes, in this way, but make sure you give the variable names properly, because you are trying to take 2 inputs from a user. So first name it as d1, m1 and y1. It will be easier. So when you write print of d1, m1, y1, you get the same result. But what I want is, I want to convert this thing into date time object. So b1 is equal to date of y1, m1 and d1. There you go. You have taken first person detail. Enter date of birth of first person. Enter date of birth of first person. Okay. Now if you want to print, when you go for print of b1, you are taking first person details. Let me execute this line by line. So I want to give 26 12 1993. Okay, you see, sorry, I gave 993. I'm sorry, it's my mistake. So when you run that, 26 12 1993. Again I gave 193. Sorry, it's my bad. The keyboard is not yet pressed correctly. So 26, this time I'll give correctly 12-1993. There you go. Year, month and day. This is the first person details. For second person, what you need to do? I'll just replicate this and I'll change the variable. It's a smart work. You need not worry. Enter the date of birth of second person. So again, don't give same D1. Just name it as D2 and you go for M2 and keep it as Y2. And so replace the variable name as B2. So again in the format of date, Y2, M2 and D2. That's it. And you have taken another person details. So this is the second person. Okay, it's fine. What is my problem statement? To accept 2 date of births. And the next thing is, you need to compare them. Compare the date of births. But how do you do that in Python? Yes, you can directly use your conditional statements. That is the reason I wanted to interlink, because I am telling from the beginning itself, those if else elif conditions play a very vital role. So you can just make sure. First, let me try to take input from a user. So first person details are 26/12/1993. That's in the format of date. And the other person is 16/11/1995. So I gave 195. Again, it is wrong because I did not press it correctly. You need not worry. Just make it simple. 26/12/1993 and 16/11/1995. Right? So obviously first person is older, right? 2 years. Now my program should tell me the same thing. So what do I do? If B1 equal to B2, that means both the persons are of same age. In that way I am writing both persons are of same age. That is the first condition. Then if it is equal to, that's one way. Then you go for another check case where elif B1 is greater than B2. It's not greater than equal to. I'm just giving B1 greater than B2. What do? I just give print the first person older or the second person older, depending on the date of birth we pass. It's up to you. So the first person older or the second person who is older, because if B1 is greater than B2, what is my point over there? The first person details and second person details. So B1 is greater than B2. And the final else case is print the first person is older. Yes, so that is where if B1 is less than B2, that means obviously we can just consider the first person is older. So let me execute this. So where first I'll enter, it is 16/11/1995. Very good. 26/12/1993. There you go. The second person is older. Just make it simple, right? So what if you just make sure, if you give of same age 16/11/1995, 16/11/1995, both are equal. Yes, so check in that way, then you can easily understand how we can use our whatever we have learned, this comparison operators, and how we are using our date time object to convert this multiple input from a user into date format, and you are using comparisons over there. This is very interesting use case. That's where date time plays very vital role, because I just wanted to make it a recap of how we have learned of using these conditional statements. They may lie very easy, but you see, without the framing of this condition, it is gone, right? That is where it plays a very vital role. Just make it simple. You need to understand how to take date format, whether you use now method, today method, or taking from date time object or date of. You can take multiple ways. It only depends on user interest. And that is where you have also seen what does time delta mean and how we can go for future values, or if you keep minus here, you get past values. So in that way, we can work on multiple things by using date time module.